Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the Yak-17 sitting at 6.7 battle rating in a realistic battle. This is a real fun plane. You can pull a lot of shenanigans in this plane, and this is one of the few jets that is a true turn fighter. Let's take a look at her. The maximum speed in this plane at sea level is 720 kilometers an hour. At 4,500 meters it is 598 kilometers an hour, and at 6,500 meters it is 538 kilometers an hour. This is a jet, of course, so no web. Top speed in a dive is 725 kilometers an hour before it redlines. It can rip before that though, and the real rip speed lies somewhere around 750, but if you make the wrong move somewhere above 650 you can already rip her apart. So it's a little bit touch and go with this plane when it comes to the top speed in a dive. Very dangerous in a dive, and you gotta pay close attention. The control stiffening in the plane lies between 500 and 600 kilometers an hour, especially for the roll rate. It starts a little bit at 500 and it starts to become more pronounced at 600 kilometers an hour. The elevator stays very functional though, so there's no worries there. It's just the roll rate that suffers, and you can still pull out of a dive with the elevator, no problem there. The stall speed lies between 150 and 160 kilometers an hour, depending on the altitude. Firepower in the plane is average. The plane has 2 times 23mm NS-23 cannons with 60 rounds per gun, and this is not very much. I used air targets in this belt with a 600 meter convergence, so I would say the firepower in this plane is average with an ammo load that is bad. You really gotta come close to the enemy plane, get used to the lead a little bit, and fire only when you have a sure shot. This is really a plane in which you can practice your trigger happiness. Absolutely. The acceleration in the plane in a straight line is no more than average, not really good. In a dive it is decent to good in a dive. It is it's reasonable there, but in a straight line the acceleration certainly isn't good, and in the initial dive it's also not very good. It does become a lot better very quickly though in the dive, so that's good. And you got to be aware that you immediately start to pull heavy G's in this plane. It is very maneuverable, and in a dive you are quickly pulling high G's, and you got to be careful not to rip her apart in the dive, so be aware of that. Now the energy retention in the horizontal is very good. Plane holds its speed very nicely, and in the vertical it's good. Climb rate is not really helping with that in the vertical, but it's average. The climb rate average. It is not very good at a percentage. It is better at zoom climbing, and the zoom climb is decent. So try not to climb at a certain speed, at a certain angle, but focus on gaining speed in horizontal flight, and then zoom climb the plane up to altitude. Turn time in the plane is very good and great with flaps. The flaps do rip off though at 400 kilometers an hour, so this plane only is helped by it at the lower speeds this plane can handle. But the turn time in this plane is very nice. Roll rate in the plane is also excellent for a jet, and maneuverability in the plane is overall is great. You can really take the fight to the prop fighters and turn fight with them, actually, as one of the few jet fighters that is actually capable of doing such a thing. Overheating in the plane is an issue though. At 100% you will eventually overheat the engine, and you gotta cool it off by going below 100. It does cool off reasonably quickly though, so it's not that much of an issue. Do be aware though that you gotta have your numbers in the white before you start a turn fight, because you gotta perform the turn fight at 100%, and yeah, if you are already in the orange when you start a turn fight, you will definitely go into the red. So And if it's an extended dogfight like this one with this P-51H, then you are doomed to cook it at a certain point, and you better hope that you finish the plane off before the engine finally does cook. The durability in the plane is not fantastic. It doesn't take damage very well. I was lucky with the damage that I got here. A little bit in the tail section of the fuselage and a little bit on the left wing. I see no real holes though. So it was light damage and the plane was still maneuvering very well. I did not notice a difference with this damage. But I've also had matches where the first hit on the wing completely crippled the plane in its flight style and I had to go back to base. And it was very difficult to land as well, so be aware of that. Now all in all, this plane can be used as a energy fighter slash turn fighter. This plane is not good at boom and zooming because it is absolutely not fast at its battle rating, especially when you consider that it's a jet. Most jets are much faster than this plane, and when you put it against its contemporary enemies, this plane is one of the slowest, if not the slowest. But when you compare it to prop fighters, of course it is decently fast as well. But the maneuverability is where this plane's main strength lies, and the energy retention is very nice as well. So you can catch planes as one of the few jets in a turn fight. You do have to get used to the aim though of the 23s, and you do get some sparkles now and then with these guns. The 23s have had a problem with their efficiency for a while now, and when you do get them on target they are still lethal. But sometimes they can be a little bit touch and go, and that is not very nice when you only have 60 rounds per gun. So be aware of that. It's a little bit touch and go when it comes to that. But all in all, the plane can perform very nicely, and as you just saw in that fantastic dogfight against that P-51H pilot, we did manage to surprise him in a place where he probably did not expect to be surprised. But I later checked that guy, and he was a level 100 pilot and a very experienced pilot with very good kill-death ratios as well. So it was a lovely fight, and I thanked him after that in the chat for that fight. It was one of the best I had that day. You also need a good opponent for that kind of stuff, so really nice, enjoyable. Most of the matches though, you do not get that much time against an opponent, and you are often put into matches with the famed Yak-23. And the Yak-23 is really a plane that is very good for its battle rating right now, and you get a lot of matches with it. And if your match consists of, let's say, 50 to 60% Yak-23s, then you're gonna have a difficult time getting kills in the Yak-17. Because you need to wait for that perfect shot in this plane with this ammo load. Also beware of what you saw here just now is the control loss. The loss of control which is possible in this plane. This plane can pull amazing turns at high speeds, but of course it does pull a lot of G's then. And it is very easy to lose control in this plane. You gotta use a lot of negative pitch, and if you're not quick enough you will lose control, as I did there. We did get a kill though in this match. As you saw, there were 5 or 6 Yak-23s in this match, and that was the only air kill that I managed to get between all those Yak-23s. But anyway, you will get a lot of matches like that, unfortunately. The Yak-23s perform very, very nicely. They have a little bit more ammo, and they have fantastic performance. So, but all in all, the Yak-17 is a fun plane to fly, and you can surprise a lot of pilots with its maneuverability and its energy retention. Let's see what kind of rewards we got for that second match. We've got anti-mech, we've got 15,000 Silver Lions and 1500 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now the Yak-17 really is not a plane that that I would recommend for the beginning jet pilot. It is very unforgiving, very difficult to fly. It turns very nicely, but it's very easy to lose control. It is very easy to rip her apart in a dive. It is very easy to run out of ammo. Very difficult to kill planes with it. You really gotta put some time in this plane, get to know her, and notice that you can pull a lot of fun shenanigans with it. But for the starting jet pilots, I would recommend you to go for the MiG-9 and the MiG-9 Late first. Get yourself acquainted with the way to fly that, more boom and zoom style, more like the other MiGs in the Russian line will be flown. And I would leave the Yak-15s and the Yak-17s for a later point when you have some more experience with jets. Yeah, like I said, not the most easy plane to fly, but fun though if you are a little bit more advanced in your piloting skills and you can keep this plane under control. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.